Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the second part of today, session 2. We begin with the thematic apparel session, and to kick off this afternoon's sessions, first we will have the business of nanotech, sizing up opportunities. And for this, we have our moderator, and I'd like to invite her on stage, Dr. Lerwen Liu, Managing Director of NanoGlobe, Australia, along with her speakers, Professor Saeed Sarkar, Secretary General, Iran Nanotechnology Initiative Council, Islamic Republic of Iran, as well as Dr. Steffi Friedrichs, Director General, Nanotechnology Industries Association, Belgium, and Dr. Hak Min Kim, Senior Research Fellow, Korea Institute of Materials Science, Republic of Korea. Dr. Liu, I hand it over to you.
Hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Clear now. Good afternoon, everyone. It's my great privilege today to be with you this afternoon, to share with you, to me, is one of the most exciting technology today you can see. Well, you cannot see, because nano, you cannot see, although you have it every day in your cell phone. And when you go on Boeing 787, you actually fly on a nanocomposite plane. But I'd like to thank the organizer for giving us the opportunity to share with you nanotechnology development today. There are a lot of issues we are going to cover, including all the exciting applications that you actually enjoy every day. And of course, the safety issues that a lot of you probably have learn from newspaper, and sustainable development issues, commercialization, most importantly, how to accelerate the research from the laboratory to industry and to the product. So we'll have a lot of topics to discuss, and we hope to have your participation together with us. Now, nano, as I said earlier, it's a scale, very, very small. You know micro already, microelectronics. We know that for almost 30 years already. Now, nano you can't see, but you can only see it if you use electron microscope or TEM. You can see atoms with a scanning tunneling microscope. But in terms of usage, if you look at your cell phone today, everybody's holding a cell phone. And everybody have a touch screen. There's nanotechnology in your touchscreen. Nanotechnology enables fast response of your touchscreen and self-cleaning on the touchscreen surface. Some of you are probably already using Samsung Galaxy, and you notice that your fingerprint doesn't print on your touchscreen, unlike my BlackBerry, for example. And that has nanotechnology, self-cleaning. And of course, in terms of healthcare, now a lot of, personally, at least for me, almost every week I have heard either my colleagues or friends or relatives suffer from cancer. Now, cancer is probably one of the biggest enemies in our health issue today. And how to treat cancer in a targeted way, without side effects, Because we all know the chemo, you have to go through chemo, and it will suffer a lot. Probably a lot of people died of chemotherapy. Now, nanotechnology promises solutions of cancer, treating cancer without side effects. Today, we will hear some of the examples from one of our speakers about cancer treatment. Low cost, without side effects, cancer treatment, for example. Now, another very exciting application or materials that I know is carbon. Now, we are all made of carbon. And you burn wood every day, well, not every day in the past, charcoal. They actually call graphite. Now imagine graphite, you use chemistry, you use mechanical way, you can exfoliate graphite into a single atomic sheet called graphene. Graphene was awarded Nobel Prize in 2010 as a single sheet of atomic atoms. And if you roll graphene into a tube, it's called nanotube. These materials are called carbon nanomaterials. And we actually see it every day in graphite, but with nanotechnology, we can make them into nanostructures. Now, what's the good of it? Interestingly, nanocarbon materials are much stronger than steel and much more conductive than copper and silicon, and much more thermoconductive than copper. Imagine the application. Now, in the next 5 to 10 years, you will see composites made of nanocarbon materials that are stronger than steel. For example, your car, I anticipate within the next 5 years, you'll be driving a nanocomposite car. Your car would not be made of metal, but made of composite. Stronger, lighter, save energy, hopefully cheaper. And another application, of course, because the fact that it's very conductive in terms of thermal and electrical, it will replace a lot of metals you use today, like copper. A lot of copper is used as thermoconductor or electrical wires. Imagine we can also replace those metals with nanocarbon materials, composites. But anyway, there are a lot of examples. You will hear some of the examples today from our speakers, and we would like to interact together with you to address some of the issues that you are interested. In order to keep time, I'd like to introduce our next speaker. Dr. Kim? I'd like to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Hak-Min Kim. As you know, Dr. Hak-Min Kim is actually, I worked with Dr. Kim for a long time, years and years. And he's maybe I should also introduce myself, I forgot. So I'm the secretary of the Asian Nano Forum. And Malaysia is actually one of our 15 members. Dr. Kim served as the second president of Asian Nano Forum until last year. And he was also the president of the Korean Nanotechnology Researchers Society. I think it was second term, right? It was second. And another very important position that Dr. Kim holds is he's the chair of the Committee of Science and Technology Program with budget over $50 million, for example, under the Science and Technology Commission. For example, if there are any Korean colleagues here, if you apply for a budget that's over $150 million US, you have to ask permission from Dr. Kim, basically. So let me welcome Dr. Kim to give a 5-minute presentation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my honor to be here and to talk here. Okay, I want to start my presentation, Korean case related with this nanotechnology. Okay. Initiated by US President Clinton in 2000 year, nanotechnologies are invested and developed in most of countries in the world. One common point in every country is that the role of government is most important for development of nanotechnology. This is also verified in Korea, as you see in this slide. Summarizing characteristics of Korean nanotechnology initiative, first, there has been strong government will based on the special law. Accordingly, Korean government spent $2 billion US for the past 10 years, focusing on the basic research and development, infrastructure, and education. So, the role of government in the future is to establish, as you see here, the supporting infrastructure for nanotechnology, commercialization through R&D, and to enhance basic and fundamental research output. Finally, to contribute to solve the global issues such as energy, water, EHS, etc. Here you see the milestone for the Korean Nanotechnology Initiative. After Korean Nanotechnology Initiative was declared in early 2001, Nanotechnology Promotion Bill was passed in the National Assembly next year. In this period, I worked as coordinator of materials and nanotechnology at KSTEP, which was the funding agency for Ministry of Science and Technology, and was deeply involved in the basic planning of Korean Nanotechnology Initiative, including R&D planning and funding. After every 5 years, Korean Nanotechnology Initiative was revised or supplemented. During this period, various R&D programs, use of facilities, and supporting organizations were established. Compared with other countries, Korean government well organized several supporting agencies to support nanotechnology society and related industries. Number of registered nanotechnology-related companies has been increased from 154 in 2005 to 359 last year, but total number is estimated to be about 900. One of the problems from this distribution is that more than half are related with nanomaterials. My final message is this nanotechnology is in the period of emerging market. Here, the role of the government is the most important for everything in nanotechnology. Thank you very much for attention.
Hello? Oh, hi. Just testing. Are there any questions? We could ask questions at the end of all the presentations, but before you forget, feel free to ask Dr. Kim a question.
My name is Omar. I'm a former student of International Islamic University, Malaysia. I have a very simple question. Can you give us basic examples of what you call nanomaterials or nanodevices and show in what way they can benefit human society?
Okay.
So that we have a basic idea of what is all about, what is all about. Thank you very much.
Okay. Like any conventional materials, nanotechnology is the very basic platform technology for everything. So there are two kinds of nanomaterials approach. One is a top-down approach. If we have something and if we break those into many particles, we will have nanoparticles. But another bottom-up approach is to assemble the atom or molecules. Anyways, through this, we have lots of nanomaterials, including carbon nanotube, as Dr. Lerwen said. These kind of materials have lots of application for everything. Information technology, bio, or environmental, or water, everything. So there are lots of applications, and there are now the nanomaterials, the task of nanomaterials to develop is how to make cheaper and cheaper price. But after that, everybody is looking for the application, and there are many cases of application. Probably my colleague, they will explain you later. Thank you.
Can I just, sorry, let me help you a little. You have a cell phone, yeah? Your battery. Sometimes when you talk, you suddenly run out of battery. Well, with nanomaterial, if I put graphene or carbon nanotube as a conductive additives in your battery, I can enable you to talk double the time. So basically, in terms of energy storage, I can give you, that's a simple example that you can relate to. Another question?
Basic prototype business model of nanotechnology, basic idea for the business, to promote the business, to develop the project.
I'm talking with the business model. For example, in Korea, we have like a semiconductor big industry. Yeah? with this semiconductor, now they say like a 10 nanometer scale of the manufacturing technologies involved with this semiconductor. So already we have existing semiconductor industry. If we combine with this new technology, with nanotechnology, they can make a very small, smaller and smaller chips made with this nanotechnology. So there are lots of applications. This kind of nanotechnology is applied for the update of the existing technology or industries. And there are another industry, because since we find some new technology, new materials with this nanotechnology, then they are looking for some application. So this is new, entirely new business of nanotechnology industry. So there are, I'm talking that there are two kinds of, one is to update the existing technology, and another is purely new industries are involved from this technology, I think.
Mic? Get a mic. You need a mic. Not working. Not working.
Nano is something new to me. I'm just asking a very simple question. Is nano a Korean word? If it is so, what does it mean?
Oh, okay. You know, okay, there is a 1 meter, and this 1 centimeter is 1/10 to the divided by 1,000. Yeah, if you divide by 1 million, it comes to micro. If you divide by billion, then it goes to nano size. Okay.
So maybe, I know you guys are very interested in the application. We have a lot of other rest of the session to talk about, and we can talk later on as well. Can we thank Dr. Kim again, and I'd like to introduce the next speaker. I'd like to introduce the next speaker, Dr. Saeed Sarkar. And Saeed Sarkar, we work in the Nanotechnology Asia Nano Forum together for a few years. And in fact, Dr. Sarkar is a very active executive committee member of our Asia Nano Forum. And one of the most impressive things that when I work with Dr. Sarkar is that he's probably in my committee members, I think he's one of the really most active person in promoting nanotechnology, international corporations, as well as advocating the benefits of nanotechnology for healthcare, for energy, etc. And in fact, he's the key person, one of the key persons in launching the Iranian National Initiative for Nanotechnology, and also currently responsible for nanotechnology policy, commercialization, and education, and all aspects of nanotechnology in Iran. And it's our privilege to have him today. Let's welcome Dr. Sarkar.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like to thank the organizers which provided me the opportunity to be with you. And at the beginning of my talk, I just give you a brief story about Iran Nanotechnology Initiative Council and what we did. In year 2000, when we started hearing about this emerging technology, actually just few university professors knew about this technology. And at that time, we said, okay, we need to look into this emerging technology and do something about it. And then the Iran Nanotechnology Initiative Council was established, and we have a strategic plan. In the strategic plan, we said we want to use this technology to enhance the quality of people's life and also to generate wealth out of this technology. And our goal our mission and goal was to be among the top 15 countries in the world in all the rings of the value chain. When we set the goal regarding science generation, we were ranked 59th in the world by publishing only 8 ISI papers in year 2000 when we started. And right now, Iran is ranked 9 in the world regarding science generation in the field of nanotechnology. And I will tell you the story, and we started, and from 8 publications per year, we have gone beyond 8 publications per day right now. And this is what we did, and I tell you this story that it's not late. Every country like Iran, especially Muslim countries, can do the same if they have a special program and focus and have a mission for developing emerging technologies such as nanotechnology. Right now, we have 30 universities who are offering MSc programs on nanotechnology, and also 14 universities are running PhD programs on nanotechnology. And right now, we have over 250 companies engaged in nanotechnology, and we are producing products based on this emerging technology, nanotechnology, which are already in the market. I will give you an example later on if you wish. But anyway, I will go for my presentation. For actually having a sustained development in nanotechnology, you have to have a proper activity and program. First is the scientific innovation. You need to be strong in the basic science of nanotechnology, which is a multidisciplinary from physics, chemistry, material, biotechnology, whatever you could see, and you have to have these activities. And then industrial competitiveness. I want to tell you that nanotechnology has 2 phases. Phase 1 is the evolutionary phase, which we incorporate nanotechnology in our existing industry and products to enhance the quality of the products and make our industries more competitive by enhancing the quality of their products. And the second phase is the revolutionary phase, which will happen in the future, as Dr. Lerwen mentioned, Dr. Lu, and it is that new products will emerge, like nanorobots, smart drugs, and smart textile. You will have in near future, within 5 to 6 years, nano engines. And after that, you will have the economic power based on this technology. So without this technology, many countries which do not pay attention to this, they will be lagging behind. We have a nano divide, like digital divide. So the digital divide says those countries who have, power and can use the, IT, ICT, and those countries who are not able to use this. Such as digital divide, in the future we will have nano divide. Those countries who have the nanotechnology, they have control, and they can manage their own, they can produce products based on nanotechnology, and those countries who do not have this technology. So they are going to lose their future, their competitiveness, the wealth generation. So to have this activity, you have to have a proper ecosystem for developing nanotechnology and should consider all the, strong points, all the necessary key elements for having this technology. The first one is human resources development. Expert people for science generation, for technology development, to be nanotechnology workers in the future, and to produce and market it. And then they should be entrepreneurs who can, part of these people should develop their own business based on nanotechnology. And also science generation is very important. If we want to have technology development without a strong backbone of science, it's impossible. So if you want to enter the innovation, you should have the control of the technology to enter the new, areas of innovation. So the backbone of all the activities is human resources and science generation. And then you have the technology development. Later on, you will have investment and risk management. There should be organizations for the investment and like venture capitals or other companies. And then you have the standardization. These new products cannot have a proper market without a standardization. So you have to work on this issue, very efficiently for standardizing these new products. And right now, ISO is very active to publish new standards on nanotechnology products. And right now, and then industrial development, as I mentioned. Right now, many, existing industry, like textile industry, pharmaceutical industry, car industry, petrochemical industry, water environment. These industries are enjoying using this technology to enhance their products. We have nano-based industries and nano-enhanced industries. And then you need the market development. You have the proper market and also public acceptance for these products. The public acceptance is based on two actually key issues, three. One is the quality of the products, the quality assurance. You should convince your customer about the better quality of these products. And then is the safety issues that you should, convey the message that this product, besides having a better quality, is completely safe to use it. And then it will be the public acceptance. You should know the, information, give the public information about this technology. And then, this is, again, you need a proper ecosystem to foster nanotechnology business. As I was trying to tell you that this ecosystem should be, considered as a whole, as a unique part and a whole part. The Islamic countries comprise of 23% of world's population. It's a market with over 1.6 million customers. If you just want to have our own market, if we could count our own market, and then the share of nanoscience generation for the whole Muslim nation, Islamic countries, is only 8%. So you see, we are doing 1/3 of our duty. Our population is 23%, but the science generation in Islamic countries is only 8%. So we should think about it and do something about it. And we can do it if we come together, putting aside all the political differences. And we should unite, have a network to work together to make a strong nation. And actually, Muslims are one nation in different countries, 57 different countries, but we are one nation as we see in this forum. And then, if you look, this is the contribution from the Muslim countries for science generation. Iran is producing about 43% of all publications in nanotechnology. Then comes Turkey with 12%, Saudi Arabia and Malaysia. Those are 11%, and the rest of the Islamic countries. And as you can see, this is the share of nanotechnology market still in the world. We don't know what is the market for the nanotechnology products. It's not known whether what is the share of Europe or North America. We don't know yet. And hopefully within next 2 years, we will have more data on that. Islamic countries need to share roles and resources to have world-class achievements. And we should network our talents, laboratory, and infrastructures. The point is that some countries' population is good, the science and technology are better developed, so they can be one node of this network. Some countries have, good wealth, have a lot of money, so they can play their role. For the first part, these human resources experts can do research and do technology development. We have a research and technology consortium within Muslim world by coming together, and some countries can bring money and have joint investment and joint production. And already we have a big market as well. So this is the message I wanted to convey, that by you either have, we can say networking or not working. We should come together and work together. There is no alternative. Put all the differences aside, and as a nation, come together, and when we can do a lot. Thank you very much.
Do we have time for questions? Are you asking me or asking Dr. Sarkar? I can tell you my answer. Maybe he has his own answer. I'll tell you my answer later.
Yes. Can you repeat your question, please? It depends what you want to do. The investment is part of the story. Most important one is that you decide that you want to do something. You have a mission, you have a program, and you have a strategic plan on that. What we did in Iran in year 2000, the most important one was that we met all, top politicians and top decision makers in the country. And we convinced them, either you will pay attention to this technology, or we will lose the future of our country, because nanotechnology is going to affect all aspects of our life. It will be used in all sorts of industries and products. So there is no escape from this technology. While they were convinced, so the rest of the program was very easy. So they support you with the money and things like that. Our budget is really right now about $40 million per year. But when we started, it was only $5 million. But it has grown up to $40 million right now.
Just to give you an idea, the total investment in nanotechnology this year from public and private is about $20 billion US. Total, everybody included, worldwide, private and public.
Regarding investment, we are still a lot behind many countries, many countries.
But it's not about putting new money sometimes, it's about reprioritizing. It's the same, you have science and technology budget, you prioritize nano, you put all the chemistry, physics, engineering, material science all together, you prioritize it, you make a strategic priority, and you put it, basically you restructure your budget.
Yes. The technology transfer. Right now, it depends how you want to do the technology transfer. The transfer is a process. So someone gives something and someone has, should have the capacity to receive it. Technology transfer without having proper capacity is nothing. It is an insufficient process. So first of all, every country, even if they want to get the technology from other countries, they should build the capacity inside to have the capacity to receive the technology. So I think the basic thing to work is just human resources development. The first thing we should, focus on, and then consider the rest of the rings of the chain.
Okay. more question, because we're going to move on. Oh, there's another one there?
Yes.
Sorry.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aziz Hassan. I'm from United States, from New York. I was a senior attorney for IBM, which is one of the leaders in nanotechnology. We were working on nanotechnology about 15 years ago, and I'm so happy, mashallah, that we have almost half the hall full of people interested in this technology. When we were working at IBM on nanotechnology, we were at the same situation, trying to figure out what nano meant and what it was doing. And I'm an engineer, and I have a law degree, doctorate of law. Again, my question to the panel up here is that it's extremely important to not only talk about the science behind it, but also as people are sitting up here to see how it's going to benefit them. Question was raised, what is it for me? And again, as professors, as researchers, as publishing papers, I think we also need to mention that when we are talking about nanotechnology, we also need to talk about protection of the nanotechnology, which is via patents, and I'm a patent attorney myself. So I have seen with IBM that we filed, when I was at IBM, now I have my own law firm, but when I was at IBM, we were filing thousands of patents every year and making over $1 billion from those assets. Pretty recently, there was a lawsuit between Apple and Samsung of Korea, South Korea, and Apple was given over $1 billion of patent infringement. So as Islamic nation, we need to also talk about our patents and our patent portfolio. So that's very important to not only talk about research, but also the benefits about it. And nanotechnology is here to stay, just like 15 years ago, we were talking about .com. People did not know what .com meant, but now .com is in your hand. So nanotechnology is here to stay, and mashallah, I'm so happy that this, this panel is discussing it. And again, I think we need to also address that as researchers, you love publishing paper, but also I think you should tell the audience how they can make money of your research. Thank you.
Well, I think we're going to have a long discussion later on this topic during panel. Maybe at the back there, one more question before we move on.
I'm Professor Asfour. I am Professor of Pediatric in the National Research Center of Egypt. And I'm interested to know the relation between the scientists in the scientific institute, the private sector, and the commercialization of the project, because this is actually what we really suffer. As scientists, we do a lot of work, we do a lot of scientific research, but there is a leakage and gap between our scientific research and the investment in our research to commercialize the project. We have a lot of scientists working in nanotechnology in Egypt, but none of them actually have reached to the extent that there is investment in it. So I would like to know the experience of Iran. There is a lot of investment in nanotechnology, but as you are scientists, what is the relation between you as scientists and the commercialization of the project and the company which really invests? Do you get any benefit? How is your work royalty? How does it work? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Actually, we use public money, and at the end, what matters is that to give back this money, or, triple O, or, big factor of this money back to the public as well. Otherwise, we are wasting public's money. And that's what matters. And that's what in our strategic plan we said wealth generation was our goal, and enhancing people's quality of life. And actually, the missing ring is not investment. The missing ring is that the academicians are not business-minded, most of them. So they don't understand the business atmosphere and the ecosystem. And we should provide a proper platform to bring these two groups together, to link them together. And if you have a very good idea and innovation, there are lots of investment waiting for you. But the point is that usually the university professors or graduates, they don't understand the business atmosphere. And we should actually educate university or academia about the production and the business part of this matter. Otherwise, we all love to do our research and publish our papers. And I think there should be a new look in today's university, the criteria, and to evaluate the performance of university professors not should be only based on the publications. In my country, we are trying to convince the authorities that you should ask the universities that how many knowledge-based company has come out of your university as an indicator of performance. So it is very important. As long as the indicator and the evaluation of university professors and academics are based on publication, we will just go round and round ourselves, and we do not do our proper job. We do not give back to the nation the wealth we are using. Unless some, business is made of that creates job, creates wealth for the nation. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's thank Dr. Sarkar again. Okay. That was, I didn't anticipate such an enthusiastic audience. I'm pleased to introduce our last speaker of today, Dr. Steffi Friedrichs. I'm going to pronounce it German right. So talk about technology commercialization. Steffi actually is a Director General of the Nanotechnology Association, Industry Association, based in Europe. And this association is quite unique. It's a global, industry-focused trade association in nanotechnology. I think I haven't seen a global and industry-focused association yet. And she has a lot of interesting responsibilities and very important responsibilities. Her association, and she, together with associations, they played a very important communication platform and leadership platform between the regulators, the industry players, and the public. And they address issues all the way from regulatory risk, safety, to commercialization, to education, et cetera, et cetera. And she's going to share with you their activities. And she's also a very active member in OECD. I'm not sure some of you know OECD. OECD has actually two working parties in nanotechnology. One is the nanomaterial, it's called manufacturing nanomaterials, or nano manufacturing. And I think, I'm not sure whether we have time to address that, but let's welcome Steffi to give his presentation.
Hello, everybody. Many thanks to the organizers for allowing me to speak here today. It is a great pleasure and honor. And thank you very much, Dr. Liu, for the excellent introduction. I will start with saying something that you probably don't expect somebody from an industry association to say, and that is, it's actually nothing new. Nanotechnology is nothing new. Every time you step out on the street and you inhale about 1 billion nanoparticles. Probably a few less here in Malaysia and a few more in the streets of Tehran, speaking from last time I've been there. A volcano is spitting out nanoparticles every time it erupts. Nanoparticles are everywhere in the environment. They're nothing new. What is new is that the industry and the technologists and scientists have now found a way to control them and to make the particles that we want. So not only the ones that Mother Nature is making, that we can then use in one way or another, or not, or need to catalyze and filter out of the air, but we can now make the ones that we really want to make and that have great functionality. So I'm representing the nanotechnology industries. And you can imagine that with a great gift of now being able to manipulate material down on a scale where we can make it new and functional, where we don't have to wait for volcano eruptions, but where we can make this material, we are representing a whole different variety of companies. So to give you an overview of what a company profile looks like, I'm showing you a plot of number of companies against the percentage of sales shares they're making from nanotechnology. And this is a typical U-curve for an emerging technology. Because despite me saying that nano is nothing new, that nanomaterials are all around, the use of this technology in industry is actually quite new. We started doing it at about 20 years ago. Some of our member companies have done nanotechnology for about 20 years. You heard the gentleman from IBM. Thank you very much for that intervention. IBM has been doing that for over 15 years now. There's a number of companies that have been active in this area. As a matter of fact, though, while we're speaking about IBM, nanotechnology, taking the buzzword of technology out of it, I would like you to imagine that not IBM, not Intel, not any other computer or device manufacturer is the largest patent holder in nanotechnology patents. The largest patent holder is, in fact, L'Oreal, because there are nanoparticles that are useful in order to protect your skin, for example, from UV radiation. There's nothing as good as titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Both of them are naturally occurring minerals on the nanometer scale to filter the UV radiation out and to protect people in Australia, people with Caucasian skin like mine, and people with even paler skin against the UV radiation, and to protect people from skin cancer. So, L'Oreal. Here, coming back to what I was about to show you, number of companies against how much money they are making from nanotechnology-enabled products. And you can see on one side of the scale, if I get this to work, those that are making all of their sales shares percentage from nanotechnology-enabled products. These are small companies. These are companies that have spun out of university. These are companies that might only have one product in their product portfolio, and that product is nanotechnology-based, because they are companies that have made nanotech their very business model. And they are doing nanotech, and they are making a lot of money from that. They might be hoping to sell out to larger companies. And on the other end of the spectrum of this U-curve, you have, as opposed to the very small ones that we just saw, the very large ones. These are the BASF, Unilever, Evonik, Petrobras companies of this world. They are the ones that have started doing nanotech in-house in research and development, but also in their own industrial processes. And they now have products on the market, some of those products on the market, and therefore make very little of their overall sales percentage from nanotechnology-enabled products. And this plot, this U-curve, is a very typical curve for emerging technologies, meaning that any companies in between the very small ones that do nothing else but nanotech and the very large ones that have in-house research and development activity, they do very little in nanotech, any of the companies in between. Because they're traditional companies, they have a small product portfolio, they might be very conservative when it comes to going into an innovation like nanotech. But as we go along and as we do more and more nanotech, we will see this U-curve leveling out more and more. And we will at some point have enabled all technologies independent of their size, all companies independent of their size, to use nanotechnology and to put products of nanotechnology onto the market. Coming back to the story that is 20 years old, though, the fact that large companies started doing nanotech a while ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, you will find that a lot of the companies, like chemical companies, food manufacturing companies, have not started doing it in order to put it into their products, but have started doing it in order to meet other targets, like carbon emissions and climate change targets. So it wasn't the technology push for a lot of the companies that you see here, like DuPont or BASF. These companies actually for the first time mentioned nanotechnology about 10 years ago when they were writing their sustainability strategies, their climate change strategies. And they mentioned nanotechnology as one of the technologies that allows them to do things like reducing energy consumption, lowering the carbon footprint, and reducing the solvent and detergent use, and conserving water, and increasing the fleet fuel efficiency. All of these things are things that you can achieve by replacing processes that you had in your plant before with nanotechnology-enabled processes. Sometimes you use a nanomaterial in order to coat the tubes, in order to then not have to use so much water for cleaning, and sometimes you do other things in order to enhance your production efficiency. That was the very first use that we saw of nanotechnology in large companies. And now, fast forward by at least 10 years, we see products on the market that are using nanotechnology. These companies are putting products on the market where they have used their own in-house innovation that enhance their own processes to now also enhance their products. As I already said, advanced sunscreen filters are now protecting people against UV rays. We have self-cleaning windows, self-cleaning surfaces. All that comes out of the innovation that companies did in-house. And if you think that all this is not groundbreaking and revolutionizing enough, we heard things like nanotechnology is a basic technology platform. It's an emerging technology. You heard the word revolution. Think of this one. Some of you might have heard of a term called general purpose technology. Nanotechnology has actually been identified as such a thing, a general purpose technology. A general purpose technology is a technology that doesn't only enhance and innovate one industry sector, but that is used throughout all industry sectors and is used through enhancing society and life. One of the most well-known ones is electricity. Electricity is used everywhere. It's a general purpose technology. You use it at home, you use it to power your own devices, you use it everywhere in industry. The next one that we remember very closely is IT, information technology. You use a computer at home, you use a computer in order to have your medical exam, computers are running industrial processes, computers are running your car, computers are running anything that we are thinking of, public transport. IT is a general purpose technology. And to put this into perspective, let me just show you where nanotechnology is forecast to be. We have a growth rate of IT given on the very right-hand side, the little blue pillar, that is relatively small compared to biotechnology growth rate over a comparable time, about 5 years. And then we have the forecast annual average growth of nanotechnology based on the past few years, 2003, 2008. And you can see how much larger nanotechnology already is in its growth rate. So this is, to repeat the words of my esteemed colleagues here, a technology that is going to find its way into every industry sector if it isn't already there. Thank you.
Great. That's good timing. Any questions? Here.
Coming.
This is Sadi Abdullah from Bangladesh. We are an agriculture-rich country. Our main product is agriculture. Just I want to know that how nanotechnology will help the agriculture. One thing, now in fact, in our country, so-called hybrid things are coming and it is destroying the environment, and that could be the cause of a lot of disaster. I think that nanotechnology will keep an important role on it. So just to know about it. Thank you.
To answer your question with regard to agriculture, in various different ways. Some of the very simple forms have already been done by some agricultural companies in using the seeds that you use for planting new crop, coating them with a specific coating that allows them to germinate a lot more to the point when the conditions are right. So you don't have your crop germinating at a time when there might be another drought coming, or when there might be too much water available. The germination point of your crop can be tailored directly to the needs of the soil. Another thing could be the application of fertilizers. Fertilizers are good, but are not always good when you use too much. They can actually get into the groundwater and they cause additional problems. Nanotechnology can tweak the fertilization directly to the level where it needs to be delivered and where and when it needs to be delivered in order to decrease the knock-on effect from fertilization and to bring the fertilizer where it needs to go. And then you have very enhanced ways of using nanotech. And that is by using sensors, using small sensors that actually allow you to use water when you have water shortage. You don't want to overwater at a time when you don't need to, but you always want enough water available for the plants to grow. You can use these sensors and then trigger a watering cycle that is really tailored to the needs of the plants at the time of their growth. So there's a lot of enhancement in agriculture in various different shapes and forms.
I have just one more question. So all this agricultural development on this nanotechnology, could you please refer me that where I can get these informations, the developments and all these things, the reference, so that I can regularly update myself?
They're publicly referenced, yeah.
Okay, and another thing is that for this question of the global warming, I think the nanotechnology is keeping a very positive impact, if I'm not wrong. Just to make it clear to me. I hope that it will be the very good impact on not the cause of global warming.
A very, very simple, but hopefully very highly impacting answer to that is Greenpeace, an NGO that we all know to have a policy against global warming, to be very concerned about global warming, does not have a policy against nanotechnology, because they do recognize that nanotechnology is at the moment the only available technology that can make renewable energies, those energies we need to use in order to completely stop burning fossil fuels, which cause global warming. Nanotech is the only technology that can make the production of solar cells viable, that can make the production of enhanced energy storage material viable. The problem is not that we don't have any solar cells or that we don't have any energy storage material. The problem is that they are too expensive to make and to particularly make available to the developing world. You want something that is very cheap and that you can use where the sun shines the most, and that is normally countries that might not have too much money to spend on that. Nanotechnology enables us to make solar cells very, very cheaply. For example, by using a printer, like our desktop printers, you print the solar cell material onto a sheet of paper. So that is one reason why nanotech is helping to fight global warming, because it makes the energies that we need to strengthen in order to cut out fossil fuel burning, it makes those available.
My name is Raja Zainal. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. There are two things I want to share with you. First is our brother from Bangladesh was asking about fertilizer. I happen to know of a company in Indonesia that produces hyper nano biodecomposer, bio-neutralizer, and biofertilizer. They have been tested and they have proved to be able to raise the pH of the soil to a neutral state of 7. And the fertilizer actually is the application is just like 1 liter of that fertilizer is used to replace all the chemical fertilizers, and just 1 liter or 1 bottle is you can apply it over 1 hectare. So it saves you from putting in a lot of chemical, bringing in lorries and so on. And they are cheap, and more importantly, those people who have tested these fertilizers, their productivity is proven to be at least 200%. The other thing I want to touch about is that I came across nanotech technology in sometime around 2004. I was asked to raise funds for professors in Malaysia. They had a company called NanoC. And at that time, I just came across the word nano, and they explained to me the applications, including the filtration of water, including the substitution of mercury in the use of, in the production of gold, and also, like Dr. Liu mentioned, to make carbon stronger, to produce cars and so on. But until today, I have not seen the application that they were talking about in the market. One of the things that I did when I was working in running 6 gold mines in South Africa recently, a couple of years ago, below this gold mine is a huge basin of water. And they discharge this water to the river, and it caused a lot of pollution. So I remember that, years ago, there was this professor in Kuala Lumpur who talked about filtration of water. But when we approach them, it's again about money. So my question is, even when there's a whole lot of application that can be used, how come the investors are not convinced that this technology can work? Thank you.
Thank you very much for that intervention, and thank you very much for the very good information speaking about the company in Indonesia, about the agricultural products. To answer your question with regard to the commercialization, Professor Sarkar spoke about the ecosystem to foster nanotechnology business, and I think that is a very good concept that we need to bear in mind. Somebody who gave a presentation at an innovation and entrepreneurs forum said that being an entrepreneur isn't always easy, because what we know from the Wild West is that pioneers, which were the old forms of today's entrepreneurs, get shot in the back. And that is sometimes true. There is such a thing as being too early on the market with a fabulously new innovation when the infrastructure that you need isn't there. So what is important to bear in mind when setting up a company or when putting money into a company is to look if where the company is set up, the ecosystem that we heard about, the infrastructure is actually there to support that. And that means that there's other companies nearby that can foster that innovation. You would not put a pharmaceutical company into a country that doesn't have any expertise in making pharmaceuticals. You would put it right next to where your pharmaceutical expertise is best. And that is also something you need to bear in mind for all innovative technologies, and very much for nanotech. Nanotech happens at the interface between engineering, physics, chemistry, and biology. And that's the beauty of it. But it also means that you should have a vested interest, a strength in your country, in either one of those classical sciences or engineering disciplines, in order to bring nano in and say, bring the interdisciplinarity with you. There is no point setting up a great interdisciplinary center, an incubation center, into the open where there's no expertise in either bio, chemistry, engineering, or physics. So the infrastructure is very important.
Let's thank Steffi again for a nice presentation. Well, thank you guys for being so enthusiastic. I think all the questions are so relevant. Basically, you already asked all the questions I wanted to discuss in the panel. But actually, just to address what you just asked about nanotechnology adoption, commercialization, and the growth, what are the factors affecting the growth of the technology in terms of adopting in the industry, and of course the bottleneck of, for the growth. So maybe I'll give the opportunity to the other speakers to answer your questions as well. Maybe Dr. Him, do you have any comments on the growth factors, the role of the government, for example, as you emphasize on the role of the government, and also the bottleneck, what you think of the bottleneck for commercialization of nanotechnology?
Okay, in every country, every government spend R&D money, and there's always question: what's the output from this R&D investment? And for this nanotechnology, there are also lots of questions about this. So 2 years ago, I mentioned the worldwide, beginning in the United States, 2000 year, this nanotechnology was invested and developed by all the countries. So for the last 10 years, the output of this nanotechnology commercialization is that twice or so times more expected than when they initiated the program. So usually, this kind of emerging technology, it takes usually 20 years at least. But for the 10 years, we have more output than as we expected earlier. This is worldwide statistics. So every government now invests for the money research. So commercialization of this R&D research output is different story. If we have good R&D output, there are many companies, there are many investors who want to invest this kind of make use of this technology. We have some example of Russia. Several years ago, traditionally Russia is very strong in basic science and technology, but they have lots of resources in only resources, gas or oil, and they don't have any strong industry. So several years ago, Russian government, they decided to invest their money. So they invested about $5 billion for this nanotechnology, because this nanotechnology industry is emerging and a new business. So after several years, I don't know much about Russia now, but I'm sure they will have some kind of success in the future. So it's not a problem of option or choice. It's a problem of matter of we must invest, and we should make because all the industry now will be influenced by this nanotechnology.
Thank you, Dr. Kim. Very enthusiastic at the back.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Sahak. I am from Afghanistan. I'm representing a private sector company. My question is to the honorable panel to tell me what is the relationship between nanotechnology and the small business communities and the small business owners, I mean. What application the technology has in regards to small businesses? Thank you.
Well, I have 15 minutes to finish everything, so maybe I'll let Steffi to answer that question, since you are running an association and with a large number of small businesses.
Thank you. The plot that I showed you, the plot that had on one end very many small companies that are making money from just one product on their product portfolio, is that of small companies. On the other end of the scale, you had the large companies. That is very much how our membership looks like as well. We are representing companies across the world, and we have quite a few very large ones, the Evonik, BASF, Unilever of this world, and we have very small ones, companies with fewer than 10 employees. Because it is actually quite easy to make nanotech once you know what you're doing. And these companies are supplying large companies. So we have companies that are making silver nanomaterial to put into field emission displays, and they have bootstrapped their way from having fewer than 10 employees. Through a chemical process, they're making the material, and they are now selling to some well-known electronics companies for the field emission displays. So nanotech is definitely a thing that small companies can do and can grow very big with.
I'll let Steffi have a break. Let me also try to address a lot of emphasis of this forum about youth and about women. And I'd like to let Dr. Sarkar to address, well, to share with us Iran's experience in terms of nanotechnology impact on youth and women, and the role of youth and women in nanotechnology.
Thank you very much. Actually, I don't know whether the audience know more than 60% of university entrants are girls in Iran. So with the same ratio, actually, I mean, I can make you an example. Last year in my MSc class, I had 9 MSc girls, MSc students, and 1 boy only. And some people say poor guy, poor boy, and some people say lucky boy. But anyway, in this ratio, actually, women are contributing to nanotechnology development in Iran. We have many, I mean, women professors and a large number of ladies. When we have some special conferences on nanotechnology, Steffi can, I mean, tell you that we had, I mean, recently one. The majority of the audience are ladies and girls. And regarding the young generation, actually, we have program for the public, and beside that for school children as well. Iran has 32 provinces, and we have nanotechnology educational exhibition for school children, and this exhibition is held in each province for 1 week, and every day we have 1,000 students visiting this exhibition and learning about nanotechnology, how to synthesize nanomaterials, and it's very educating. And also, we have some, sections in physics, chemistry books, high school books regarding nanotechnology for our high school children. And also, Iran, I think, is the first and the only country who has Nano Olympiad for high school children. And I mean, we had the 3rd one this year. The first year, we had only 400 participants. And the 2nd year and the 3rd year, it was a factor of 4 growth. And this year, we had 16,000 participants from all over the country. So we think the future generation can ensure the development of Iran in the field of nanotechnology. So we have special programs for all sectors of our society, and we think that by knowing about nanotechnology, what benefits this has for society, I mean, we get the public support, and following the public support will come the political support and financial support as well. Thank you.
Thank you. My second last question, I want panelists to share with us about the nanotechnology impact in the developing world and how the developing world can benefit and involve in nanotechnology. Can I start from Dr. Kim again? Or do you want to, or you want to volunteer? Anybody want to volunteer first, and maybe I'll open to the floor. Steffi.
Thank you. A number of organizations that are looking after the developing world and that are promoting the needs of the developing world in the developed world, in the first world, have started talking about a concern that they have that the advent of nanotechnology, as it is done in the developed world, could throw the developing world even further behind, something that is now known as the nano gap, quite similar to what Professor Sarkar said, the nano divide, if you're not investing in this technology. We have conducted a study into this, a very in-depth study into this, and we found that it is no such thing as a widening gap, but that nanotechnology, because it is a technology that can be done by very few people very effectively, like a small company with fewer than 10 employees can be the main supplier of a large international company of nanomaterials. That allows the developing world to actually use this technology on a budget, to innovate on a budget, and to close the divide. And that is not only the divide that it has with regard to this very technology, but that is the divide in healthcare, because nanotech allows them to enhance their healthcare facility. That is a divide that they might have in industrial processes, which might be seen as being environment polluting, as opposed to the more expensive, perceived as more expensive processes that the first world is using. So nanotechnology is actually a technology that the developing world can very much use on the capabilities it has available in order to narrow the gap to catch up with the industrial processes in the first world. So I think it has a great potential there. So,
I just want to tell you a fact that some developing countries or underdeveloped countries are afraid of these emerging technologies, especially about nanotechnology. Some people think that we should have control of, for example, microtechnology, and then we go 1,000 times down to nanotechnology. So it's not like that. I can tell you in this, building, there is a back door as well. So you don't enter from the front door to go to control the technology, and then you have the microtechnology in your hand, and then go into nanotechnology. As Dr. Kim mentioned, there is a bottom-up process as well. So countries like Iran, if you wanted to look at this, we have little microtechnology. But I think we are among the few developing countries that we have control of nanotechnology. I can make an example. You are walking on your own leg, you can reach any target you set. You can go wherever you want. But if you rely on others, they will take you wherever they want, and they will leave you wherever they want. So, in nanotechnology, Iran is walking on its own legs. So, the only issue is that self-confidence. Believe in your abilities. You can do it, as we did. We had said that we wanted to be among the top 15 countries by year 2015. Right now, we are ranked 9 in the world. And we have put many, developed countries behind. So, regarding this technology, which has its application in all fields of industry, the developed countries can use this technology, developed countries, to enhance their existing industry, as we do. Right now, we have used nanotechnology in 8 various industries, in car industry, textile industry, pharmaceutical industry. We have our own anti-cancer drug. I can tell you a very short story. There is a drug called doxorubicin, the ordinary one, is $30 per a vial of 10 mil. But when it goes to nanodoxorubicin, it is $700 per 10 mil for one injection. one patient needs to have 20 to 30 injections for treatment. We have produced this drug in Iran, and last year, we used to import $20 million of this drug, and few rich people could grab this this drug. You see the added value, more than 20 times more expensive, because it is a targeted drug delivery. It goes only to cancer tumor. Like other chemotherapy drugs, it doesn't spread in your body, and you don't have the side effects. So either you have this technology, or in the future, our people will rely on others, and many poor people will suffer. So think about it and do something about it today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Sarkar. That's impressive. I have one last question. I want Steffi to spend 1 minute to address the managing risk issues. I think this is something that we need to address, and I think Steffi is in the best position to address that since you have been involved very much in this field.
Thank you. As an introduction on why I'm asked to address this question, we actually, being based in Europe, we are working a lot with the European and the US government and with governments from around the world, Latin America, for example. They tend to be driven by security, by safety concerns at the moment, because the nanotechnology is regarded by some as having some doubts upon safety as well. Let me assure you that what still holds for any product you're buying on the market, there is such a thing as an overall safety of the product. And it doesn't matter if you use physics to make it, if you use engineering to make it, if you use chemistry or biotechnology to make it, or in fact nanotechnology. The product has to be tested to be safe. So while we might not know everything about nanomaterials, we can still test the safety of a product. And we can, within its normal use, vouch for the safety of the product. Speaking for the industries that are behind our industry association, speaking for those who are putting millions, including through us, through our public-private partnerships that we are running with the regulators, putting millions into the safety testing of those products in order to completely lower the concerns that people might have regarding the safety. Just because it is new doesn't mean that it has any new effects. We still can test for the effects that we are testing for when we are using chemicals, when we are using any other means of making a product, and we can guarantee that the products are safe in their understood use.
Let's switch on the slides at the back. I want to have a few take-home messages for you guys. Is it working? At the back there? Can I switch on my PowerPoint one slide? The take-home message? I can't. It does not. I go next. It doesn't work. All right. Never mind. Oh, sorry. Okay. Sorry. This one. So I really enjoyed this panel. I don't know about you, but it looks like you guys are very enthusiastic. I think you agree that nanotechnology, I hope we convinced you that nanotechnology is here today and tomorrow. And it's a global movement, and it is a platform technology that impacts us in every aspect of our lives, including, of course, energy, IT, healthcare, agriculture, etc. And I think, you know, from my experience, I think nanotechnology promises consuming less for more performance and offering cost and performance competitiveness in products. And in many cases, it's a game changer. And managing safety is the same as managing technologies such as biotech and IT, etc. Thank you all for your great participation, and thanks all the panelists for their excellent presentation and knowledge to share.
Thank you to our moderator and panel of speakers. Perhaps we could have a group picture right now. And ladies and gentlemen, we have the last session happening shortly, entitled Shaping Tomorrow, Creating Leaders of the Future.